Hey, I'm Guy.
I'm John.
That's him. This is our YouTube channel. Subscribe to the channel. Give this video a like.
Yep, check out the podcast below in the description.
I think one of the really fascinating things that happened Sunday was the way things played out with the Dolphins, where it's like they give Tua the soft landing. I think we got to understand, too, Brian Flores rolls onto the field in the afternoon, and the Ravens have lost, right? The Ravens played in the morning, so the Ravens are 6-4 by the time the Dolphins hit the field at 6-3 in the AFC wildcard playoff race. And the Raiders are 6-3, and he knows the Raiders are playing the Chiefs on Sunday Night Football. Brian Flores stepped on the field.
And the Ravens had lost to the Titans, who was a team, the wild card team, right? And the Colts are playing the Packers.
There's just a lot going on. But I just think specifically the Ravens and the Raiders, the teams that I think he's thinking, we can be a playoff team. And he's hoping Tua gets him there. And Tua did not get him there. And he had to bench Tua. I'll do it with less enthusiasm than usual. Our Tonga Vailoa, Eli Gold. I almost said Ari. Tonga Vailoa. But it's kind of crazy, John, the way this thing is played out. And I'll give you said it to me before we recorded the podcast, because Flores has some of this, right? You said like some Kyle Shanahan to him, where he just wants to win. He's tired of losing. That photo you always tweet of Kyle sitting in the locker room with his hands on his head. Flores is just sick of it.
Well, R.I.P. to Mike and Mike, but I remember for a long time when I was young and ever listened to Mike Golick, he would always take the opinion of like other positions and been like how bitter they are that quarterbacks get treated with kids' gloves.
Yeah.
He's like, when I suck as a defensive tackle or a safety sucks as a safety or a wide receiver, it's like, get him out of the game, Jim. Why is he still in the game, Billy? Like, coach, what are you doing? Yank him. And it happens all the time. Unless you're like a Hall of Fame position player or like a legit all-star Pro Bowler. Like we see it's like you just fucking get that guy out of there. No one even thinks about it. We see it happen with like right tackles. Like, oh, they got a new right tackle and he was just getting smoked. And it's not even that weird. But quarterback they treat with such kid gloves. To me, it was a no-brainer. The guy was terrible today. And he just didn't have it. Whenever I'd be like, I had Gesicki on my fantasy team, and he's just getting killed because Tua can't get the fucking ball to anybody. And he gets yanked out of the game, and for a split second, they come and show the replay that he kind of got rolled up on. But then you see him on the sideline. It's like, no, he got yanked. And Fitzpatrick comes in. I honestly think more teams should do this. Like the Bears, for example, with Foles. If Trubisky, like, just get guys in and out. It doesn't even matter. Like there are a select handful of guys that you just never have that mindset with. But like I'd say this is a little bit of an indictment on Tua when the conversation had already been thrown out there 3 or 4 weeks ago by Schefter of like, now the Texans won today and the Texans might win again this week. Their pick might not be as high as you'd think. But I do think that every game that goes by in the majority of our life, I always remember this because we talk a lot about West Coast teams when they fly to the East Coast, that time change.
Yeah.
Another sneaky stat has always been the Dolphins when they play in the cold. When they play the Jets and the Bills, and forever it was like the Marino teams, and then in the 2000s, like they always lose. Of course they do. Well, this guy, where'd they play today? Denver. It was just a little bit different environment. You guy from Alabama. Like, is this guy going to look good in Buffalo and New England? And the Jets stink, but if the Jets were ever half decent in December? It is a conversation we've had for years about Derek in Denver and in Kansas City.
And Goff, we've had it.
I would not trust Tua in a snowstorm, would you?
No, he had 80 yards, 11 of 20 passing.
Would the Chargers or the Bengals once this year cross their mind to yank their guy? Now, they're not playing for the playoffs, but it would never have crossed the coach's mind.
Part of it is how it looks. Now,
they had 77 yards.
Now, to your point on the Schefter...
77.
What do you mean, total yards of offense?
No, that's how many yards he threw for.
Oh, I have him at 83, but maybe this isn't net or...
Excuse me, 83. Maybe he completed one ball after I saw the 77. Because I looked right as I was watching the game and he's struggling. I'm like, well, how many yards does he have? Because I'm screaming for them to throw the ball to the tight end. So maybe he completed one more ball. 83 yards. It's 2020, guy. This isn't 1987 and you're playing the Bears. That's
on the Schefter.
You don't hit triple digits in the NFL now. That's embarrassing, correct?
But this happened multiple times now, right? Isn't this the second time it's
happened?
Well,
yeah, it was. But it was his first game ever. He hit 92, but still.
Okay. Well, I know what Herbert looked like. I know what Burrow looked like. Again, I'm not going to make it about one game, but I
well, guys, Fitzpatrick came in. This was the second half, threw for 117.
Now here's the thing with the Schefter, and this is where I support it. What the Cardinals did with Kyler. Get rid of if you think you're wrong and you got a guy, but it's are you willing to do it if you end up with the number 1 pick and you can get Trevor Lawrence, fine, that's easy.
Like the 9th pick for
that's not the position they're going to be in.
Yeah. You're not going to get rid of him for Kyle Trask, right?
Right. Unless you're just unless Brian Flores thinks I have seen the future and it's Brett Veach, Pat Mahomes, I've had a vision. And it's Carson Steele. What's the guy's name from Lance?
Trey Lance.
I've seen the future, and it's Trey Lance.
Was it Carson Daly? I've gone back and forth because I was out on Tua, and then I remember watching him last week thinking he looked a lot better.
Yeah.
Watching him this week was just an embarrassment because I just started thinking his talent when he's off, it's going to look really, really bad. At least Herbert and Burrow are off, their physical tools. This guy. Maybe today again, 4 start. Team's not that talented.
Team's not good,
but it is but it actually is not bad. I mean,
his defense is his offensive talent's not great. But you're right. Fitzpatrick did a lot more with it.
I would imagine if Fitzpatrick had started this game, he throws for 250 plus yards,
and they win the game. And
because it's just easy to watch when Ryan comes in, their ability to just make basic passes it was night and day, was it not? He let them right down the field, just hitting out routes and slant routes and just. I crushed their guys. Gesicki's not terrible. Devontae Parker, too, actually hit him for a touchdown early in the game. A little back shoulder throw was pretty sweet. They have a little guy, Jeremy Grant, who's actually a little speed demon from Texas Tech. I mean, they actually don't look bad when you're completing balls. Once Fitzpatrick, we've seen them before when they played the Niners. We've seen them play well in the past. They can look pretty decent. When Tua's off, they looked really bad, though.
Well, here's the thing with them, though. After the game, Brian Flores said that Tua's going to be back next week. So they're 6.
So he's not benching him to move forward.
No, they're 6-4.
Who do they play?
They're in the playoff race. They play the Jets and the Bengals coming up.
So they're going to win these next 2 weeks.
Well, they better.
So you wouldn't bet on them to win the next 2 weeks?
I'm just saying they better because this conversation. If you've lost to those teams, who are the Broncos?
You're right. If they were to lose one of these 2 games with 2 as their starter, it'd be a huge indictment on it. He has to win these 2 games.
Well, he
has to. I mean, he's playing Ryan Finley.
I was gonna quiz you on who the backup for the Bengals was. Good call.
I know because I had the Bengals, and then Ryan Finley came in, and they just went 3 and out every single fucking play. The Jets actually, Flacco just hit some deep bombs.
Did you see the pick 6 Flacco threw?
He hit the guy in stride at the 5-yard line.
Right after they turned it over right there. I looked away for a second, and all of a sudden, wait a second, I thought
the announcer was it sure looked like Joe thought he had a nice, easy out route there. It's the guy come out of nowhere.
Come on,
that's got to be.
The time.
Is there a better feeling as a defender? You don't even need to run. You just catch it, and you're right in the end zone. It's just woo! So